Welcome to the Boat Buyers Secret Weapon Series. I'm your host, Captain Matt, and today I want to tell you, turn off your fucking lights, okay? This is a little bit of a rant, but this is something that's important. I'm going to do this in a fun way, but I was really disappointed with what I saw. I was out on Lake Norman this past weekend and was enjoying day on the wake with the family, and I love the evening time. I love to boat in the evening and at night. So we stayed on the water, had dinner, and just took a nice, easy cruise back to the marina. And the sun was down when we left the restaurant. It was about an hour cruise back at 20, 22 miles an hour, just up on plane. And we were on Lake Norman, and this guy. Well, there were several. Before I get into this guy, there were several boats that were running down the lake with LED lights on, with their docking lights on, with just crazy lighting going on their boats. And it makes it very difficult for other boaters when you do these things. It looks awesome. It looks cool, but it makes it very difficult for other boaters. So it was either this Supra or this Supra. I don't remember which color combination, but it was definitely the Carolina blue and white, that baby blue and white color. And as we pulled into the marina and I was getting the boat tied up, I said to this guy that the Supra that we had passed out on the water, that had their docking lights on in the middle of the lake, coming in, and we were still, I don't know, maybe half a mile from the marina, maybe even a little bit longer than that. But, and they had their docking lights on, just cruising in the middle of the channel. We got to the marina, and they pulled up in the marina just kind of right after we did. We were still unloading, and they had their docking lights coming in, and my wife said, "Please don't say anything to them." And I said, "I'll try." So, well, I couldn't help myself because I could tell it was a newer boat, a nice boat. They were a family. They struggled getting into the dock and getting it tied up. They got it tied up. And I said to the guy, and it was my fault. I should have approached it in a better way. But I said, "I don't want to be rude, but were you aware that you're not supposed to run your docking lights at night?" Now, what I should have said was, "Hey, sir, did you realize you can get a really expensive ticket by having your docking lights out in the middle of the channel?" But here's what just set me off is he said, "Yeah, I know, but I couldn't see. I couldn't see." Now, at the end of this video, this is going to be a shorter one, but at the end of this video, I'm going to give you tips on how you can see better at night, okay? But then he walks up to their car. I'm getting the boat wiped down, covered up, put away, battery switch turned off, and my wife and kids were already up at the van, getting loaded up. They slept some of the way home, and they had a long day, 8-10 hours on the lake. They were ready for bed. And my wife said he was complaining the whole time. He said, "You see what I mean? People telling me what to do on my boat. That's why I hate people." And it just set me off even more. Now, here's the thing. This video is to help people that want to boat the right way, that want to be courteous, and that don't want to get that expensive ticket. So this video is to say, please pay attention to your lights. This video is also for manufacturers to stop doing stupid shit with your boats. Stop putting all of these LED lights on and that cause people to do illegal things at night because of the way you're designing your boats. I know it helps. I sold boats. LED lights help you sell boats. In the boat show, people think it's cool. They think it's awesome. It's super cheap to do as a manufacturer. Put $100 worth of lights on, charge $1,000 for LED lights, and everybody gets all excited. But here's the problem. And actually, I looked at the Coast Guard regulations. There's two things, and I'm going to start with what you have to do, and then I'm going to talk about LED lights, and then I'm going to talk about docking lights, and then I'm going to talk about LED lights. The Coast Guard rules state red light on your port side, green light on your starboard side, and a 360-degree white light all the way around. Now, they put out this special memo in 2015 that talks about what the reason. But here is why this is so critical for people to keep your lights off, especially your docking lights. If you've ever been out at night and somebody shined a flashlight in your eyes, what happens? You can't see for shit, right? And I'm marking this as a language video. I usually don't swear like this, but I think it's necessary to get my point across, and I'm pissed, and I just want to get this out. You can't see. You can't see when somebody shines a light in your eyes. Now, when you're on the lake, when you're on the water at night, it is dark, dark, dark. There's no street lights. There's not usually much city light. There may be lights on the shore. There may be lights from houses and docks and landscaping. But for the most part, it is blackout. And if you're smart, you've got all the lights off in your cockpit shut off so that your eyes can see better. You turn everything off on your boat and you only have your red, green, and white light. It's super dark, and now you're coming across some jackass that's got their docking lights on, and they're using them as headlights because they think, they're headlights. They're in the same place the headlights of my car are in. Well, the problem with that is it's like shining a flashlight in somebody's eyes. Now I'm trying to drive my boat and my family after a nice dinner on the water and taking a nice easy cruise, and here you are with your light shining right in my eyes, and it's difficult for me to see. Now, the other problem with that, we talk about it on the Best Boat Captain on the Water. If you're a new boater, I'm serious, go check it out. It's less than $50. I've discounted it to less than $50. I should charge way more than that for it, but it'll give you total control. We talk about this in more detail, but here's the laws. And this is the other thing. Not only does it cause night blindness, like shining a flashlight in your eyes, the other thing is when you have your docking lights on, it violates the Coast Guard rules, which is why you can get a very expensive ticket. This is the rule. It's Part C, Rule 20 in the U.S. Coast Guard regulations, complied in all weather from sunset to sunrise. During such times, no other light shall be exhibited. So keep all your other lights off except lights that cannot be mistaken for lights specified in the rules. Red, green, white. Do not impair their visibility or distinctive characteristics. Well, when you have your docking lights on, your red, green light, your navigation lights on the front of your boats, you have your docking lights on. Now I can't see your red, green. I can just see white lights coming at me really, really bright. Now I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're crossing my bow. I don't know if you're coming port to starboard. I don't know if you're coming right at me. I don't know what you're doing because I can't see your lights. Or interfere with keeping of a proper lookout. And this is the LED lights in the boats. This is where the manufacturer, I think, are totally... it just drives me crazy that they put all of these bright lights, the speaker lights, this Supra that we passed. Well, they had not only their docking lights on, they had all of their cockpit lights on. They had their LED lights on their CAN speakers shooting off their wakeboard tower. No wonder this guy couldn't see at night, because his cockpit was lit up like a friggin' Christmas tree. It interferes with you keeping a proper lookout by having all those lights on. Now, I think it's mostly the manufacturer's fault for putting them in these brand new boats and then the people that sell them, and I happen to know the dealer that sold this boat because I know the Supra brand and the dealer that carries them. I probably know the sales manager. I may know the sales guy that actually sold it. They should be explaining to these people, listen, if you're at the dock, if you're at anchor, you can have these lights on. But when you're underway, these lights need to be off. I know they're cool as hell, and you can tell them to them after they buy the boat. But this should be part of the delivery process is, hey, here's your boat. Let me tell you how to use it. If you're going to boat at night, let me tell you what you need to know about these lights. So it interferes with keeping of a proper lookout, because if you have ever looked at the stars, I remember in like 7th or 8th grade, we looked at the stars and we made these little red pencil lights that you put a red covering over your flashlight so that you didn't screw up your night vision so you could see the stars better. Well, it's the same thing in your boat. You've got all these lights in your boat now, and now you can't see out into the darkness. No wonder why this guy's like, I can't see, so I turned my docking lights on. Well, you dumbass, turn off your lights inside your boat, let your eyes adjust, and now you can see better than anybody, and keep your docking lights off because you're obstructing other people. Now they don't know what you're doing. You're putting yourself and your family in danger, and you're putting myself and my family in danger, which pisses me off on the water. It's why I created the Best Boat Captain on the Water program, is because people need to know this stuff, and they just don't. They're new to boating, which is okay. It's why I created the training. It's why I have this whole channel, is because I want more people to get involved in boating. But you have to know how to do things properly, and if you don't, you need to learn them. And if you learn them and you still don't follow them, now you're a jackass. Now you're intentionally putting your ease of boating, or your fun of boating, having your docking lights on, having your can lights on your speakers, having all your interior lights and LED disco lights going on. It puts me at danger because you're putting your lighting fun ahead of proper boating, and it's just not right. So some other things, you can check these out. Anything that interferes with the proper lookout, you can go check this out at these websites. There's some other rules. They've got very specific rules of intensity of lighting. Can't interfere with the law enforcement. They can't interfere with the lighting on their boats, public safety activities. It all says you can't interfere with the proper lookout. Go check that out if you want. This was what the Coast Guard put out. Avoid improper lights that are not set up for certified navigation lights. And again, if you really want to boat safely, if you want to boat fun, I promise I don't swear at all in this videos, in these trainings. We've got the Best Boat Captain on the Water. We've got a single engine version. We've got a pontoon version. We've got Trailer Like a Pro, Boating Fun Amplifier Toolbox, Tow Water Sports with Confidence. We cover all of this in those different programs and much, 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 much more. But here's my advice to you. Only have your navigation, your red, green, your anchor light, the 360 white light on when underway. If you're sitting still, you can just have your white 360 light on, and you're okay there. Dim your dash lights, dim your screens on the wake boats. That Supra, I guarantee, had a big old bright screen on it that he was using to navigate. Turn those down, put them on night mode. When I'm driving a boat at night, I put a towel or a shirt over everything on the dash. I don't even like the radio, the backlight on the radio to show through, because it's harder for me to see. My job as I'm driving my family home or on an evening cruise or a midnight cruise is to have a good lookout, because it's hard to drive a boat at night. You got to pay attention. You got to get your vision right. Turn off all LED and interior lights. I like to stand when I'm driving most boats. Just you get you a better view. You can turn, you can look 360, make sure nobody's coming up speeding behind you. Make sure you're not going to turn into somebody if you're making a maneuver. I can see the waves better if it's a little windy and rough out. I like to stand, pay attention, keep your speed down. That helps as well. The Supra, fortunately, they weren't going very fast, but they weren't even up on plane, so we're putting out a huge wake. Maybe they had their ballast in. Maybe that's what the wake was so big. But when we passed them, I had to adjust my direction because they were putting out such a big wake. Just get up on plane. Either get up on plane or idle, but don't plow through the water. Again, we talk about that in the training. But those are some tips to make it easier for you. If that super guy is watching this and somehow you stumbled across this video, I apologize about the way I shared the information. I should have done that in a better way. Please take this advice to heart. You may not have been in a good mood. Maybe something else happened that day. So I apologize about my tone, if there was tone, the way I definitely could have approached it better with you. So I apologize about that. But please, it is important. And if you don't know any better, get yourself educated before you're out on the water, putting others and yourself in danger. And if you boat on Lake Wylie, Lake Norman, Mountain Island Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, Lake Loudon, those are the Tellico Lake. Those are the lakes that I boat on a lot. So please follow these rules and just be courteous, be safe, be smart, and go out and have fun. That's what it's all about. But you got to do these things because it's not fun if somebody gets hurt. Remember, bestboatcaptainonthewater.com. You can check out that training. It's super inexpensive. Subscribe to the channel. I promise I won't swear very much in most videos. I don't rant. That's not my style, but I was really fired up. Click like, click don't like if you hated it. Comment. Let me know your experiences. Let me know your boating safety questions if you have any. YouTube's recommended some videos here. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.